Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Where's Carl here on the Monkey Caviar Podcast Network. The funny part is that's the Walking Dead game updating on my phone. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome back to another fine week of Where's Carl. This week we're going to talk about Do Not Send Us Astray. Mighty words from Saeed.
Yeah. He cursed some balls in this episode.
Yeah, Rick wasn't having none of that shit either.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi, Tammy. He wasn't having none of that shit.
I thought Rick was going to shoot him at one point.
So our thought for the episode, and I want to get started with this right now because it could be a theme that just goes through this entire episode, is what if young Henry is actually Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer's Henry Lee Lucas?
Interesting. You know,
that's where I'm going with this.
He does seem to have a murdery vibe going on.
For a murdery vibe, he sure lets his prey out of their trap.
Seriously, what the hell was up with that? I mean, he could have climbed through the openings of that cage. He didn't have to open the fucking door to get in there.
In this week where we had a lot of talk about guns and whatnot, he's standing there with the gun we're all talking about.
Yeah.
And he's pointing it right at a bunch of guys inside a bunch of chicken wire. And then, you know what? This door might get in the way. Let me open it up. What are you doing?
I've said it before. I will say it again. The kids in this post-apocalyptic world do some stupid shit. They really do. I only hope that when Judith gets older, Judith doesn't do some of these same things.
Judith seems to be, a pretty bright kid.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not coming up on my screen.
Uh-oh. That's not good. Yeah.
No, I mean, I can see you, but I have to pop you up instead of it just floating over to you. So this is going to be a very interesting. I'm going to have to direct while we actually do this. This goodness. Wait, what just happened? Yeah, see, my computer sucks, so this is going to be awful. All right, well, we're going to do it anyways. Let's see.
Well, it wouldn't be a show without some technical difficulties.
No, when it's stuck on me like I'm important.
You are important, Mike.
Nah, I'm not even doing Comic-Con this year.
Aw.
Gypped me.
You said you're going back in summer, aren't you?
Yeah, probably. I got to think of something to do though.
Nice.
All right, let me get my episode started so that I can watch this and make sure it's turned down properly.
So I did appreciate the first half of this episode was pretty action-packed.
There was a lot of action, yeah. So I want to start with let's get your thoughts on the Morgan situation.
Well, we know Morgan's been losing his mind for a little bit now. Again, and I'm not sure why I'm not sure what dead guy keeps referring to that. You should have known or whatever that was. He was kept saying to Morgan.
Yeah, I don't know. It's right here, but I don't have the subtitles on. but I kept saying over and over, like, you should know, you should know, or I don't remember what he said. Who cares? He's talking to a ghost. And who do you call in the post-apocalypse for a ghost? Venkman? Those guys are not showing up. My feed just died on my computer. Oh man, my Walking Dead feed just died.
Uh-oh. I'm just having all kinds of problems tonight, aren't we?
God damn, I know, right? I'm trying to get
well, things have been going smooth for the past couple of weeks. It's been it's about time that something happened.
Oh, now I'm trying to do that. Oh, she's doing every breath you take. I get what you're doing there. All right, so it's coming back on. So Morgan's going a little crazy, and if he's crossing over to The Walking Dead, another theory I have now is that young Henry is the reason he leaves. he takes off and goes on a long walk to Texas, apparently, based on the Fear the Walking Dead trailer, and just shows up.
Yeah, so it's Morgan from this current time, right? It's not an earlier version of Morgan.
It appears to be Morgan of a current time, yes.
So they're gonna catch up Fear the Walking Dead to where the Walking Dead is, because it was a while behind, wasn't it?
It was behind. I mean, obviously they started with the outbreak on the West Coast, so yeah, it's a little different in the. This is only like the 4th season, I think, of Fear, and so you should be 4 seasons behind. But
in theory,
maybe in theory, yeah, but I don't think that's applicable. So now I think they're all going to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure why they're in such a rush to speed that story up, but maybe they're going to condense them into one show eventually, and just going to have the Fear cast is going to show up on Walking Dead.
I'd be okay if Alicia comes over. She's hot.
Yeah, no, I agree.
She's all right. So first question is the ghost here. Why doesn't he have like a voice box? Because I mean he's got a big hole in his neck. He's got the trachea right from where Henry did him in. And but he's speaking as a ghost. Well, to Morgan.
As a ghost, you don't need the voice box. Although it'd be kind of funny.
It would be.
You should have known.
It would have been great. That would have been awesome. You should have known. Like, I don't know what he's talking about. Now I love that Morgan's kind of shaking him off, like, "No, you're not real. You're not real. You're just in my head." But no,
until he goes to attack him.
He goes to attack him, and then he's like, "Oh, air, whap, whap." No, nothing there.
Yeah. Because I mean,
I'm a horrible director, by the way.
I mean, does Morgan feel bad for lying to Henry, saying that that the guy he killed was the one that killed his brother, even though that wasn't the case? I mean, because I can't see that.
Why.
Yeah, I can't see that as being a bad thing. That was trying to
lie about. They would. Oh, and then they do the horn. The horn signal.
Yeah.
You know what it is. He was saying, "You know what it is." I know what it is. This show is lost. It's friggin' way. That's what it is.
Oh, I was thinking Faith No More epic.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's it. It's it, and that's what it is. It's an ice cream treat. It's it.
Or maybe he's referring to Stephen King. Maybe he's referring to Pennywise. That you know what capital IT is.
It's it.
It's Pennywise.
Sorry. So Henry's asking for a gun, and Carol's like, no.
And Ezekiel, it's nice to see Ezekiel finally made it back there.
Yeah, Ezekiel, everybody's hanging out. Everybody's home.
They've consolidated all their forces into one spot, which could be a bad thing, but at the same time, also, and reinforces their strength.
They seem to be ready for this attack. And we get, as I'm watching it, we'll go through the attack. Oh, this is Saeed getting shit. So the nurse. Can we talk about this nurse for a minute?
Go for it.
Ratchet. Nurse Ratchet of the apocalypse. Like, have you ever seen a more ungrateful friggin' person in your life?
Seriously, you get some guy with medical training that's coming in to help you out, and all she wants to do is bitch about him. What have you done? What have you not done? I mean, and I'm glad Saeed like manned up and just kind of like verbally bitch slapped her a little bit because, she needed it.
Yeah, he was totally. I appreciate that he stood up to her, but the lengths she was going to demean him seemed ridiculous. One and two, I was like, oh, this broad is dead, Peggy. Peggy's dead, and that does come to pass. But,
is Peggy's last name Redshirt?
Yeah, Peggy Redshirt. She's first to die.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know if it's just racially motivated because he's Arab or something. Because racism doesn't go away in the apocalypse. But there was never a good reason why she was being such just a bitch to him about this stuff. She should have been saying, "Thank you for helping." Yeah.
Right. Put the blankets down over there. Thanks for the help. I really appreciate it. You're doing a great job, buddy.
Yeah.
That's not what happened.
Nope.
So no. So the sun goes down on the hilltop, and in the nighttime, all the good stuff happens. So I dig that Jerry is up.
Oh, let me go back. Go back for 1 second. We were talking about Henry trying to get a gun, and Ezekiel is just like, "Look, kid, you got to stay here, protect everybody inside." And it sounds like Ezekiel is putting a little bit of responsibility on him, saying, "Hey, look, if shit goes bad, you can defend the people in here." But, Carol's like, if you go out there, you're going to die. And Ezekiel's like, "Look, you got a job to do. Stay here, keep these people safe." But little Henry not having none of it, man. This is the little kid that snuck into the kingdom on his own. This kid, he wants to be a badass, but he's, as we find out later, he's just stupid.
He's not Carl. He thinks he's Carl, but he's not Carl. He's not trained. He hasn't been out there. He hasn't dealt with walkers. He hasn't dealt with humans. He's a naive kid who thinks that in the time and place that it is, that he can just pick up a gun and be a badass. And guns don't make you badasses, people. I hate to tell all the, some people that in our country especially, but they don't make you a badass. It's your attitude that makes you a badass.
Yeah.
So, and Henry he's not a badass. He's like in the chess club. And it's not sanctioned. Chess club is great. I love chess club. It's social. Get your chess on. That's fine.
But even
a place for everybody.
But yeah, even Carl tried some stupid stuff, but I think Carl had a bigger support system, and he had some better teachers than some of this stuff. Little Henry was trained how to fight with a stick.
Yeah, but
Carl was trained how to shoot a gun.
He was trained to fight with a stick by Morgan, though.
Yeah, but if he was to run into that cage with just the stick, that probably wouldn't have gone very well for him either.
And Tammy's making some valid points in the chat, saying that Carl was the same way when he was the age that young Henry is.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Carl's not innocent.
Yeah, Carl got Dale killed, teasing the walker with the stick. So yeah, Carl fucked up too. So
yeah, he did.
All right, not off. Not everybody's off the hook.
I can't think of a single kid that didn't do something stupid that got somebody killed or just led to bad shit happening.
Yeah. There you go. So all right, so everybody shows up at the hilltop, right? And this is one of those things that's starting to grate on me, is that every time Maggie gets on the walkie-talkie, she has to say her name. I'm Maggie Ree, the widow.
Yeah.
Like, we know you're the fucking widow. We got it. Like, you don't have to keep hammering home. King Ezekiel doesn't get on there and be like, "My name is Ezekiel. King Ezekiel." He doesn't do that. Rick isn't like, "I'm Rick. Rick." Nobody does that. So
I'm Rick, bitch.
Yeah. So, Negan doesn't get on there. She's the only one that identifies herself by her nickname, even though I guess. But it's just weird.
Well, it's almost like that name defines her right now too. She is the widow, especially in this, because it was this event that widowed her. So she's really latched on to that nickname.
Okay, but
yeah, it's still like you don't need to keep reminding everybody that yes, I'm the widow.
We got it. We get it.
Yeah, you could just said it's Maggie, and Simon would have known who it was.
Right. What they should have done here. And if I was, Simon, I would not have sent the whole convoy. I'd have sent one guy in a car with a pizza box. And been on the box and could have just said, "Too soon?"
Oh, but
wouldn't that have been more effective, though?
A little bit, yeah.
Than leading all your men into good on him, by the way, for Spike strip in the street.
Yeah.
I like that move a lot.
Yeah. Simon did not like that move, apparently, though.
No, it slowed them down quite a bit. It did. But that's unfortunate. What did you think of this Dwight and Simon argument?
I mean, yeah, Dwight still wants to help Rick and the crew, but he's got to be very slick about it now because he's neck deep in enemy territory. So he has to try and look like he is still with the Saviors while, he's just kind of like nodding his head in agreement for the entire time, because that's all he can do at this point. But I mean,
at the same time, though, Simon's starting to lose his shit and acting real shady, out of character, wanting to kill everybody.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
do you think
we've
Dwight
seen
will be the one to take Simon out? Ooh, there's an interesting question. Tammy wants to know if you think Dwight will be the one that takes Simon out.
It could. I mean, if it comes down to it, but I mean, he could have taken him down earlier in the episode when he saved Tara. It would have been just as easy to take down Simon as it would have been to wound Tara. So, and especially because they were the only two there. So if you'd have taken Simon down right there, nobody would have known it was Dwight that did it.
Correct.
But go ahead. So not yet. I mean, I still think we're going to have a Negan Simon showdown before too long.
I think that's the end of it. I think Negan and Simon definitely are going to have to put the fists on each other or the bats or whatever.
Yeah.
Because one, it's for leadership of the Saviors. Two, it's because Negan didn't sign off on this shit. He didn't sign off on killing Jadis's people. And we still haven't seen him since Jadis has him.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going on. What do you think is going on with him? Are we going to see him next week?
I certainly hope so, because we've only got a couple episodes left. So, they've got to resolve. If they're wrapping up All Out War this season, they've got to get there quick because we're running out of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all know how it ends. We hope.
Yeah.
But things change in this new comic book landscape with Carl dead. So
this is true. Now. Yeah, you can't count on anything that you knew from the comic books as far as going to be happening in the show.
If I was to go by the comics, I would say this season ends with a knife wound, a very deep one. And if I'm not going by the comic books, I think it ends with the death of our widow.
I read something recently with Andrew Lincoln saying that he'd be very surprised if she didn't come back next season.
I would be surprised too, but it's possible.
No, anything's possible.
I'd like to talk for a moment about Daryl's new mounted machine gun motor. This might be the best after part addition in the apocalypse.
Yeah, a little aftermarket add-on, a little ratchet, bolting a machine gun to your motorcycle. As if he wasn't bad enough already.
Okay, Daryl's bad enough. I'll be like, Daryl cries, we all cry. We know that. But that, you got to admit, there was a cheese factor on that run-up with the gun on the mic on front of the motorcycle. It was just a little too much for me to take.
The only thing that was cheesier than that, but was still entertaining as hell to watch, was the scene from Grindhouse with Rose McGowan and the machine gun leg when they pull up on the motorcycle, and she's got her leg out shooting people as their guys doing donuts on the motorcycle.
It kind of felt like that.
Almost, but Daryl looks nothing like Rose McGowan.
All right, so they do a pretty good job of suckering them into the gate. The hot gates, as it were, because then they pull the bus in front and lock them in.
Yeah,
great move. They unleash hell. Now here's the problem: they all shoot like the 18.
Again, bullets apparently are not a problem in the apocalypse.
I'm telling you. So more of the Saviors go down as they try to enter than our people, but we do lose a few.
Yeah.
Turns out, though, the Saviors are like Robin Hood with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Those dudes were stroking them arrows in. Like, it's dark, it's night. There's a lot of things going on, and they were stroking arrows on people. So kudos on them for that. Yeah, what did you think of Simon discounting the prisoner's worth?
Oh man, I mean, I was not expecting that move out of Simon. I figured, you know, especially after the comment he made when he's like, I noticed that was the box that I left you. He's like, that was a classy move, just kind of throwing that back at her. But yeah, I mean, that was like I said earlier before the show, like Simon's gotten kind of cold hearted. I mean, the reaction to Jadis and just slaughtering all of her people there. Then from the end of last week's episode, where it's like, we're not going to kill them, we're just going to wound a couple of them and watch them turn, to the complete shift of fuck it, kill them all.
This is not about a beginning. This is about conclusion.
Yeah,
and
he's kind of gone off his nut.
He's turned, and I think the lack of Negan in his life is it's HOH-itis, like they have on Big Brother when they first get power. And then they're like, I have all the power, so I'm going to do things my way for a change. We're going to do everything I want to do. And fuck everybody else. Just do it my way. And then, like, the next week, they're like, oh, shit, I'm fucking everyone's target now.
Yeah.
And that's going to eventually happen to poor Simon here. Saeed did an awful lot of field work during this whole onslaught that's going on. He's running around like he's safe because of Geneva Convention or something. Like, oh, we don't shoot the medics. Like, that's not the way it works.
It's like Saving Private Ryan out there, and he's running around trying to triage people in the field.
Saeed is no Matt Damon.
No,
he is no Matt Damon.
Very few people are.
Tammy said all the archers were taught by Rick. Yeah, that's possible.
I don't remember Rick being a badass archer, though.
It was a badass art. Well, maybe they all, like, Legolas showed up for a week. Like, here's how you ride a shield and shoot people at the same time.
Yeah, they took a trip, and that's why they took so long to get there. They stopped in Rivendell, were taught by the elves, and then came back.
That's great. That's great. Who wins in a fight, Daryl or Frodo?
Daryl.
Yeah, probably. So I gotta say, as I'm watching it go on, I'm a little impressed with some of the shooting. In particular, Rosita, Ezekiel, and oddly enough, my girl Michonne.
Which is surprising because we know she can't shoot.
She can't shoot for shit. We know that. But yeah, she didn't have much to do in this episode except, shoot a few things and then be like, did you see how much money Black Panther's made? I am leaving.
And I mean, we see Rick actually shooting better this time instead of like the way he was shooting at Negan last week.
Well, you couldn't shoot much worse than the Negan. I mean, I'm locked up. I'm like, oh, they're a high. Oh my gosh. This is not bouncing back and forth. It's driving me crazy. All right. No, I said that when they were talking about the shout out. Oh, yeah. Rick can't shoot. They all suck. And so then they turn out all the lights, right? And they're like, all right, just lure them in. So they got them all standing there in a big, giant group.
That would have been the perfect time to bust out that 50 cal machine gun that mowed down Ezekiel's people.
Just blow them all away. But no. They let them spread out. They let them flank about. And then they hit the lights on them, where Simon is standing dead right in the middle, and they can't, not a bullet comes near that guy. It's remarkable.
Yeah. I mean, red shirts on both sides go down, and Simon manages to get away. He's got the devil's luck in a firefight.
Yeah, he's not good. All the ground around him is exploding in dust.
Yeah,
and he's just standing there like, I am the Almighty, cannot be strucken down.
But yeah, I mean, I seriously.
There was a lot of good parts to this plan.
Yeah, I mean,
Rick's team shows up at the end.
Yeah, I don't know who put this plan together, but they did a damn good job of this.
Right. This was like, remember I was talking about the one plan going right for a change?
Yeah.
The plan went pretty smooth. You lost a few people, but that's war.
That's to be expected. You're going to lose some people.
Right? You didn't lose any name brand people. Nobody above the title. So
No.
you're all good.
Yeah,
Tobin
I mean,
went out like, all right, you got the stab wound. And the reason you give Tobin the stab wound is so you can have the big scene with him and Carol going back through, down memory lane and being like, hey, remember back in season 4 when we were thinking about fucking? And he's like, yeah, we never did. And she's like, nope, we never did.
Yeah. That's his one big regret.
Is,
I think that was his one big regret is that he didn't get to bone Carol.
That's it. There's other options. I mean, Rosita, since Abraham's gone. Tara for some reason. Oh yeah,
she's lesbian. Yeah. Nurse Ratchet probably could have gotten some out of that. Although she seemed like she was wound up pretty tight though.
Peggy is a little bit of a tight ass. I don't know that I go for Peggy. I'd be like,
maybe that's why she is such a tight ass. Maybe if she'd have gotten laid, she'd have like eased off Saeed a bit.
I'd rather bang a walker. Can you get an STD from a walker bang? I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
They should have had a giant
trench
dug out and all the sabers filling it. Oh, that would have been good. They could have done a trench. I like a trench. Trenches require a lot of digging. I'm not all down for that, but
well, they had a bunch of free slave labor they could have dug the trenches with.
That's right. They could have used all them prisoners to dig trenches. You, sir, could have been a Southern plantation owner. You understand the power of free labor. And it's not free, by the way. The slaves were quite expensive.
Well, yeah, you got to feed them. We went to feed them and house them and clothe them.
No, it was more to that. We went to a plantation and did a tour thing, and it's really quite educational and fun. But well, not fun. That's wrong. But like it was. Where's the whip and slave exhibit? No, it wasn't like that. But the slaves were like 10 G's a pop.
Jeez.
And these bigger plantations had like 300 slaves, and I was like doing the math. I'm like, wow. So you had to be loaded.
Yeah.
I thought that just every white dude had a slave, and that's not the case at all.
Now, when you say 10 G's a pop, is that like with inflation, like nowadays prices, or back in those days?
No, back then.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's quite expensive to have slaves, and especially to have a large stock of them, because then you do have to feed them, but most of them worked the farms, and that's what they fed them with.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. This plantations down here, they're so huge, and they're ridiculous. And the house is like, it's not a mansion by any stretch. Kim and Kanye would never live in this house.
Jeez.
They'd be like, no, that's small. Like they're all, the kitchens are small because it was different time, different things happened. They didn't stay in the house.
Yeah.
Because there was no air conditioning, so the house got hot, so you went outside.
Yeah.
So
you didn't have a microwave or a dishwasher. Yeah, you didn't need space for that kind of stuff.
No, but they had this amazing system of aqueduct trenches dug that the slaves were required to dig as part of their I guess life. But it's just, so when you say, yeah, you got all that prison labor, they should have totally used it. And then they should have also kept them around, and they could have taken down all the slats off the window instead of Rick trying to pry them off with his axe.
Yeah,
he's awful at, by the way. Michonne's just ripping the boards off, by the way. She's a champion.
He's a dick. He's still all mopey.
I'm good. I'm good though, because as long as he's mopey, he's not sticking his pickle in her. So. All right, let's see. Rick's ripping out things. So the war is over. Everybody's been shot, dude.
So we kind of glossed over the Daryl, Simon, Tara moment.
All right, yeah. So when Tara gets shot, again, if Dwight wanted to kill Simon, there was his chance, and he didn't take it. So,
well, I like Simon said something to the effect of, like, hey, when are you gonna start killing some people? He's like, this is a team effort we're all putting in here. He basically called Dwight out for not killing anybody.
Well, nobody wants to go into that situation with somebody that's not going to pull a trigger.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so, you don't have the. But the question becomes, if you're going to pull the trigger on Simon eventually, why not right then?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been
could
the perfect
like I
opportunity
said,
to do it.
he was alone. He was, surrounded by enemies.
Yeah.
He had Daryl on one side, Tara on the other side, and instead he decides to shoot Tara in the back. Fine, whatever. That's great. I'm all for shooting Tara.
Yeah, I did go back and watch it. So I'm like, did Dwight just take her down? Because if so, that'd have been completely justified.
Right. So when the people start turning, and we get to Tobin, who goes the way of the walker. When that happens, I get excited because I'm like a Tara hater, and I'm like, oh my god, if she got caught by a tainted arrow, she's just gone. I'm happy I don't have to deal with her anymore. By the way, Jerry can dig a fucking grave.
Yeah, he can.
Tell you what, Jerry's busy. Maggie stands around and looks at graves. Jerry digs graves.
Yeah, and Jerry fills them too.
Jerry does fill them. Let's see now. Then they brought the labor out, and they were like, "Go dig your own graves out front." So
just the one guy, though.
That.
They just brought the one guy that's actually been decent to everybody. They don't bring anybody else out. Just that guy. The guy who said after Simon said, "You know what, kill them all," and he's like, "Look, I don't want to go back to that shit. I'll help you guys out if you don't throw me back in the cage. Like, I'll help you fight these people because clearly they don't want me anymore."
I think he fancies Maggie.
I don't know if it's so much that he fancies Maggie. I think he wants to stay alive, like most people do in this time period.
Most, not Henry.
Fuck Henry.
Henry just wants to kill people. Henry's a mean little boy.
I get Henry's need for revenge, but man, use your brain.
Jerry could have dug the trench. And at the end of you just go, Jerry, dig the trench and I'll give you a cobbler.
Jerry, there's cobbler under the ground there. Dig for it.
Dig for the cobbler, Jerry. Dig.
I love Jerry.
I do too. There's a lot of graves in the old Hilltop Cemetery. I'm saying it's growing. It's getting to be a pretty. It's getting to be a pretty prosperous place. But the thing is, they're not filling it with any name brand corpses. No,
there's a couple that are there, but they've been there for a few years now.
Yeah. Glenn and then Abraham are there, and then now Tobin.
Yeah.
Tobin's the big name there, but not a lot of big names residing in the Hilltop Cemetery.
No, I mean they should call it the Red Shirt Cemetery.
It really is the Red Shirt Cemetery. It's like if your name is like Beth or Diane or something strange, you're just gonna die.
Yeah.
If your name is not unusual enough for us to remember at this point,
and if you don't have a name, yeah, your name is cannon fodder.
Like there was a guy in this episode who got a lot of FaceTime and was and then died in his sleep. And I guess what was the point of him?
Yeah.
So Tobin and Carol's whole going away speech again. You couldn't close the deal. Okay, Tobin can't close.
To be fair, I don't know who could have closed the deal with Carol at that point.
I mean, we could bring her old husband back to beat her around a little bit.
Oh, she kind of got back to Susie Homemaker routine at this point, making cookies and just like being a housewife. She'd put her killing behind her for a little bit.
She was trying to fake it until she made it.
Yeah. And she was making some fake ass cookies.
Carol's not a cookie baker. She's a killer. And
she is now.
Carol has to realize Carol is a fucking killer. She's not a cookie maker. I don't want to. Carol's cookies after the apocalypse is over. If she opened Carol's cookies, line around the block. It'd be insane. If Melissa McBride, after The Walking Dead, opened a chain of cookie stores called Carol's Cookies, she'd be a very rich woman.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, she'd make a killing. Pun
She just
intended.
opened 4 stores in Atlanta, and millions. All right, well, this scene goes on forever, so let's talk about something else. Did you like Justice League?
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either. I thought Jason Momoa was good. I liked him.
He was one of the best parts of the movie. I mean,
He really
looked nothing like Aquaman, but man, did he have fun playing that part.
I'm okay with that though, because does Aquaman have to look like his Mego figure for him to be Aquaman?
Well, no, it's just the fact that they made him look like 90s Submariner, who was basically Marvel's version of Aquaman. You know, like in the 90s, like when he kind of went bad, that's exactly what Jason Momoa looked like.
Yeah, you're right. He was a little more Namor.
Yeah,
I know you're right. Submariner. All right. No,
other than that, I thought he was great. I mean, everyone always thinks of Aquaman as kind of a joke, but man, Jason Momoa played him as a badass.
Yeah. So, all right, Henry's got himself a gun. Henry's got a gun.
And then he disappears with the gun for a while. It's like, what, did he go hide it somewhere?
Yeah, well,
because you see him again.
Because it was.
Yeah, you see him again without the gun.
Right, and then he takes the gun and goes outside, and then it's Rick and Saeed's moment on the porch, and even then, like Henry's walking through the background. I don't know.
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense. If Chewbacca's there, it doesn't make any sense.
Why would Chewbacca want to live on a planet with a bunch of 3-foot tall little Ewoks? It don't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Did you like Saeed's attempt to try to win Rick over here?
Saeed's doing what he can. I mean, Saeed, he does nothing to feel bad about. Carl got bit trying to save him, but that wasn't any fault of Saeed's. The fact that Rick is just, straight up being a dick to him over the whole thing, Rick needs to kind of let that one go. This is like one of the last acts his son did, was to save this guy's life. You think Rick would maybe be a little bit cooler about the whole thing. Like, I don't know.
Okay, but at the same time, if his son doesn't save his life, his son is still alive.
Well, at the same time, if Rick hadn't chased Saeed off in the first place, Carl would have had to go look for Saeed, and Carl would still be alive.
Well, in the first place, if Rick didn't get out of his coma, then Shane wouldn't have impregnated Lori, and none of this would have happened.
Damn right. It's all Shane's fault.
Right. Shane's fault. There we go. We come to it. The conclusion. Oh yeah. Here's Maggie talking to the red shirt I was talking about. Hi, I'm important. I got stabbed, but I'm okay. I got a leg wound. Who is this clown? I don't know this guy. How are you talking to Maggie? Like anybody can just talk to Maggie now?
His name is
President Maggie.
His name is soon to be zombie number 4.
Look, red shirt, just lay down here until you're dead, and then attack some other people. Attack a bunch of other red shirts.
I loved his first. Name. I loved his first move as a zombie, which was to fall fucking down the stairs.
Right? And I was thinking when I watched that, I'm like, I have been that drunk. I have done that tumble. I have been that wasted. Yes, I have.
It would have been perfect if he'd have fallen down the stairs and busted his head open and been the end of that zombie.
Oh my God, what a great way for a zombie to go. Just falls down the stairs random. That would have been great.
Take lessons from us Walking Dead writers.
So Tobin apparently is he's a neck biter.
Oh yeah.
In case you didn't notice, Tobin big on the neck, not too much on anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe it's one of the easiest spaces to get through. I got nothing. I mean, maybe he's a romantic.
Vampire movies and all.
He just likes necking. I think he's from a time period when necking was a thing, but
do you think there's any semblance in the fact that it took an hour and 13 minutes for him to change?
No.
I don't know.
I love the fact that Rick talks about how Maggie had turned the generators off to save gas, yet they still have the digital clock working. How the fuck is that happening?
That's a valid point. Maybe it was battery-operated digital clock.
Maybe.
I don't know. I got nothing. I'm trying.
Yeah, I don't either. The things they choose to focus on in the post-apocalyptic world sometimes just baffle me.
Guys in blue shirts are now called Tobin snacks. Tobin?
Tobin did some damage going through that place.
Yeah, Tobin took Peggy out. Bye, Peg.
Yeah.
Bitch. She was a bitch.
Yeah, nobody's going to miss Peggy.
I'm not going to miss her. Nobody's throwing the big... She didn't even get like a big eulogy in the in memoriam on Talking Dead. It was just like, yep, there goes the nurse. Oh, they think they called her Tobin snacks.
Nice.
Whatever.
Not even a yakko like, hello, nurse.
How do you rate the effectiveness of this savior plan?
Pretty damn effective.
Seemed to work, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, considering that Simon's plan was to kill them all, this actually worked out okay because they wounded some, let them turn, and did some more damage after they had left, hours after they had, fucked off out of town.
And that was the point of the plan, was to have a secondary attack later, and they certainly got that.
I mean, that was the original plan. That was the original plan. It was just to wound a few with these tainted weapons and leave and see what fun happens.
But were their losses culpable for this kind of action? Like
the Savior's losses
didn't lose. Yeah.
Well, the Saviors lost. They lost a good chunk of people there.
But they also freed 38 guys. Not all of them ran back home, but they freed some of them. Are going to run back there because of stupid Henry.
They weren't intending. They didn't go there to try and free these people. But even still, I mean, are they going to run back to Sanctuary after hearing Simon be like, "Fuck it," they got captured. Yeah. It's kind of like when Trump said that he can't respect John McCain because real heroes don't get captured in Vietnam. It's like, seriously, what the fuck? I mean, I don't know. Simon basically said, you know what? They get captured. They ain't us anymore because our people aren't stupid enough to get captured.
I saw a meme on Twitter that said the guy who said he would run into a room to save kids from a gunman ran from a bunch of kids all the way to Florida.
Yeah. You mean Cadet Bone Spurs?
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, that's a whole different podcast. We don't need to do that one.
No.
All right, so
I didn't notice the Jumanji drums in the background.
What? I don't know either. Yeah.
Maybe somebody found the board game.
It was, the movie did just come out on DVD. So
maybe we're gonna get a season where maybe that's where Henry's at. He started playing Jumanji, got sucked into the game.
Nice. All right, I'm all for the Henry Jumanji theory.
And he's gonna come back out years later, all scruffy and carrying a spear and just killing monsters.
How much did you have any hope at all that Henry was gonna slip on the trigger and take out Gregory?
Well, when he opened fire at that point, I'm thinking oh, here's Gregory goes down, and this is gonna be such a fitting end for somebody so Weasley like him.
It would have been a perfect ending for Gregory.
Yeah, I mean, especially Gregory's like, why don't you let me have the gun, kid? And Henry's like, I'm not stupid.
I think everybody should have been running out of the chicken coop, and Gregory should have got his coat caught on the barbed wire, and then the walker could get him because he got tangled up in his coat, in this coat.
Yeah, because Henry's gonna go. Gregory needs to go out in some stupid way. He needs to.
Speaking of hold on, real quick. I'm ahead of us a little bit because my TV goes too fast. But what group of people can sleep 25 people in a room and a dude can fall down the fucking stairs and no one wakes up?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there were people screaming outside and nobody woke up.
Nobody got up until people were actually physically biting them. They were just snoozing away, just I'm good. It's been an exciting night at the old house. You don't think you would sleep all that well to begin with. let alone crammed it in a room with a bunch of other people. No,
Yeah, I mean that
these people all
adrenaline,
sleep super soundly.
the adrenaline wear off like that will probably cause you to crash a little bit. But yeah, I mean, like I wish I could sleep that soundly.
Me too.
When I was younger, I used to be able to.
Yeah, that's called booze.
But in my pre-boozing days, I used to I'd sleep through earthquakes. I'd sleep through, all kinds of shit going on outside.
I've slept through some big earthquakes in California, but I don't sleep through that kind of and people getting eaten next to me. No, I'm awake.
Yeah, I know. I heard a scream. I hear a scream. I'm gonna wake up.
So I did like Rick's instant ER where he just hacks the guy's arm off. Man, saved his life.
It worked for the Herschel.
Yeah, and guess what? Saeed does know how to fix an amputation, and he can hold him down. So
Yeah.
that all what Peggy was saying was bullshit.
Well, you know what? And Saeed just got a promotion too.
Yeah.
So bonus.
He's Dr. Bob now. Oh, I hate this long-haired friggin' savior guy. I wish the kid would have shot him.
Oh, the one that was being a dick all the time?
Yeah. He's always been a dick.
Yeah, he should have gone.
I want to say he reminds me of the guy who was the lead singer for the Blind Melon, maybe.
Shannon Hoon?
One of the Yeah, maybe Shannon Hoon, except kind of dead even. But I don't want to speak bad of Shannon Hoon. I like Shannon Hoon.
So did I.
But yeah, I think Henry, Portrait of a Killer. I guess we're left with the question of where is Henry?
Hopefully he's inside a zombie stomach right now. I mean, honestly, even still, if nothing else, he could have made all of his threats without opening the fucking door.
Yeah, right.
If he couldn't shoot through openings that big, he had no business holding a gun.
It's chicken wire fence, kids. It wasn't even chain link.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he lets him out, and it's like
and why the hell does he even have the key in the first place? Who was watching the key?
Where'd he get a key? Apparently, keys and machine guns just laying around in the hilltop for kids to get it.
Yeah,
and so
you'd think somebody would have had a tighter grip on that key.
You would think, but they didn't. God, so Morgan. Everybody got in a couple of good headshots. Daryl gets one. Rick gets one. Where's Michonne during all this? Nowhere.
She was sleeping like everybody else.
She's on the floor like, no, cool.
So you guys got this.
Then Tobin Walker, Carol has to take out the Tobin Walker herself.
And that's very fitting.
That was a very fitting end for Tobin. And he said he was on Talking Dead and said he really dug going out as a walker.
Yeah.
And that she said, just come at me, man. Just really come at me. And he's like, and she's like, no, just do it, man. And then she realized that, he's like 6'4". And she's like, all right, maybe not come all the way at me. Yeah.
Come at me, bro.
Well, yeah, so then they realize that it's the people that have been stabbed or winged that are now turning, and obviously they make the quick connection that they've doused their weapons in gook.
Yeah, Rick came to that conclusion pretty fast. I was surprised how quickly Rick put two and two together.
Man, he was like a scientist.
He's like, wait a minute. I saw Negan, his bat had some blood on it. Therefore, all of their weapons must be covered in zombie guts. And it's like, holy shit, Rick, when did you get that smart? Right. Maybe that's why he forgot how to shoot, because his brain increased and his dexterity failed.
All right, and here we get another red shirt laying in the bed, and we're supposed to feel bad that they're going to kill this guy. I don't know this guy.
Yeah,
I don't
seriously.
care about this guy. Like, oh, Rick's got to shoot him in the head? Oh, well, shoot him in the fucking head. I don't know him. I don't care. Like, they really needed that to be a better red shirt than that guy.
Yeah, I think his red shirt name was SAG member number 3.
Yeah, SAG member number 3 got his card because he had 3 lines.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so then they got to tell Tara that, it's the scratch, and you got scratch, you got wing. So, she She's doomed. And
oh, we jumped over that Daryl Tara conversation. You know, where Tara all of a sudden Tara had a complete 180 on Dwight.
Oh yeah,
you know, it's like,
well, that's happening in front of me right now.
Oh, is that happening?
Right.
Okay, I thought that was late. I thought we missed that.
No, yeah,
but yeah, Tara finally comes to the realization that that Dwight was actually helping them, and that Dwight saved her life by winging her instead of letting Simon take her out entirely. And she even comes to the point like,
I'm sorry. They think right now that she's going to die because she's been winged. But obviously she got winged by Dwight, who didn't guck up his arrows. So she's going to be fine. And that's when they're going to put together even farther. Now, if she had this epiphany after that realization, like she got hit, didn't get sick, didn't die, maybe Dwight didn't do his tips. Oh, maybe Dwight is on our side. Then I get it.
And I think that's what it was.
She came to it really quick. Yeah, she came to it really quick and without the sickness being, the sickness cure thing.
And I mean, the fact like I've hated the fact that her and Daryl have been very gung ho. Like, look, he's going to help us out. Then we're going to fucking kill him. There is no redemption for this guy. There's no like, okay, you know what? We'll let you live in peace because of you helped us out. Like, Tara has comes to that moment. She's like, look, I was with the governor. I did these bad things too. And, Daryl's justifying the whole thing. Like, well, you weren't with the governor. You were just there. And she's like, well, no, I still did some bad shit with the guy. Like she's trying to justify Dwight's attitude and his actions. And Daryl's like, nope, still going to kill him. Like even when Daryl's like, have you forgiven him for killing your girl yet? And are you square? And she's like, yeah, I think so. And Daryl's like, still going to fucking die.
All right, well, maybe Daryl needs, Daryl's got some issues with Dwight. I mean,
he does, but what's the brother got to do to get a little bit of credit for helping him out?
First, you got to spend a weekend in the closet listening to Easy Street
and eating some dog food.
That's an important part of redemption. Is no, you're gonna listen to this fucking shit.
But I can see Dwight I can see Dwight sitting in that closet singing along with it for 7 days, though.
I think that maybe taking Simon out. I don't know what Dwight's gonna have to do to redeem himself in Daryl's eyes, and maybe that's maybe it's just impossible.
Yeah, I mean,
who knows? Maybe we're gonna need Sherry to come back to figure all that out.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
She's still out there somewhere. I think she's a whisperer, but we'll get that when the show gets to that.
Yeah,
but I don't think they put a character out in the wind and haven't brought them back ever.
No, I don't think so.
So if she's out in the wind, she's coming back at some point.
Yeah, we never saw a body. Damn it!
Right. If you don't see a body, ain't nobody dead.
Exactly.
All right. So this is about over, right? This is Morgan. Oh yeah, Morgan's freaking out again. I don't know what Morgan's deal is. I don't know how that crossover is going to work. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, does he think he's going to get away from all the killing by running somewhere else? Because that's not going to happen.
I mean, it's a good thought, I guess, that he could think that a change of latitude can change the attitude, as it were.
Maybe.
And, we've all tried that. I've ran away and tried a different change of location here, even.
Yeah.
Just to see how things check out. But I didn't have a lot of
Sherry is with Heath.
Oh, that'd be awesome. We come out this series ends and it's like there's an epilogue 25 years later, and there's an island and there's just all these little mulatto babies running around, and it's just Heath and Sherry chilling. That'd be perfect. Except I don't think you're allowed to call them mulattoes, and I'm sorry if I offended anyone.
I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, I know. Tammy, are you upset? I hope not. All right, so that's going to do it for this one. I don't have anything on next week, so
I don't remember.
We're not going to be here next week. We got a hockey game, so Adam,
I missed a game tonight for this episode, and Mike was gracious enough to postpone next week's episode so I can catch the next game on Monday.
Yeah,
But we'll be back the week after that for a double episode.
We'll do a double episode, and then we'll have another double episode because the finale's 2 hours.
That's right.
So we'll have double episode after next week. So thanks, Tammy. I appreciate you hanging with us all night. It was fun.
Yeah, we love having you in the chat room with us.
Yeah, always fun. But thanks for coming. And if you're watching online, until next time, love many, trust few, and do harm to no one. Peace.